Hello, I'm Greg Smith, and as you may or may not know if you watch some of my videos, I do a lot of clubsmithing on older hickory clubs. And today I want to talk about a quick fix that many of you will know about, but maybe some of you don't. And what I have is an original play club that belonged to the father of my friend Andy Strachan over in Scotland. His family's been involved with golf for a long time. I think he even said his grandfather was the greenskeeper up at Moray, which is a great golf course if you ever get a chance to play it. Anyway, his father has a set of clubs. It looks like it was a short set. It's missing a couple that I'll fill in out of what I've got here. But one of the ones that he was really prized is this Mashie. Now this Mashie is an original play club from the early 1900s, probably 1915-ish, 1910 to 1920, we'll say. I doubt if it's earlier than that. And it's a Mills, which were made in Sutherland over there. So looking at this, it's unusual in that it's got 36 degrees of loft and it's a Mashie. Now I have this club by Mills in a short nose, but I've never seen one in that loft in a long nose before. So it's quite a unique club, and you know, it's kind of one of his prized club's possessions, if you will. It would make it very, very good to hit, especially for someone, a senior. It's going to be real easy to get up the loft. It'll be great for chipping around the greens and stuff also. A lot of use, especially in Scotland, where the things are so tight around the greens and you might stub an iron if you tried it. Anyway, the wood has shrunk over the years, despite, no matter how well you store it, that's going to happen on a 100-year-old club or a 110-year-old club, right? And it's caused the head to be just a little bit loose. Normally, if this was a regular iron, I would pop the pin out and reset the head with modern epoxy, knowing it was going to be secure forever. However, I'm reluctant to do that on this because if you look, see if I can get the pin in focus, maybe a little bit. Very, very small pins in these. And I've tried removing them before. You can drill them out, but you really hate to do that. I'm not going to do it on this club because of the rarity of the club and because honestly it belongs to somebody else. And if I try to drive it out, I'm worried that it would bend rather than drive because I tapped it a couple of times and it seems in there pretty well. So what I'm going to do is a trick that many hickory golfers know, but like I said, maybe some of you don't. I'm going to take some very, very thin viscosity super glue. You can find this stuff called Thinner Than Water. This is some I bought locally that's just got a very, very thin viscosity to it. And you do need these little applicator tips because this stuff will get away from you. It can be quite dangerous. It will even smoke on cotton because it sets up so fast. What I'm looking for here is simply something to trim that tip back, but I guess I'm going to go with it full length. Anyway, these little tubes are ideal for applying it. You won't get too much. It'll hold an air bubble and keep it from coming out too quick on you. You throw the thing away when you're done with it. I think I bought like 3,000 of the things for 20 bucks. You have to be very careful with this, and as you can see, I'm in here on the kitchen table doing this, and I don't want to have to sleep on the couch tonight. So I've got a paper plate underneath this in case any drips off, I don't ruin the kitchen table. But you're going to take this and get it at an angle where it'll go in there. And you're just going to apply it to that crack right at the top of the hosel there. And this stuff will seep down in there. You'll see it going in. And will set up very, very quickly. And I'm just going to keep feeding that in there until it will not take any more. When I see it start to, you know, stay on the surface, I know that it's had all it wants. When I'm done from this side, I will probably try to put a little in from the bottom too, where the shaft penetrates the club head. And just make sure I've got as much in there as I can get. Now this is going to do a couple of things. One is that any crack in there, as it builds up, it's going to take care of any minor crack. And this head was not real loose, just barely loose. However, if I leave that like that, with it loose, it puts all the stress on that little bitty pin, and it will shear the wood in half where that pin is eventually. Now, maybe not today, but it will come. I think I about got all that's going to take at that end. Now I want to turn it upside down and go from the bottom down here and let some come in around that also. because I can see just a smidgen of a crack, maybe a thousandth or so. If you don't know, a piece of cellophane tape is 2/1000 thick, and what I'm looking at is a little bit less than the thickness of that tape. But I'm going to hit this until it will not soak up anymore. And there it's starting to run off the bottom of the club. So I think I've about maxed out there. Now I'll give that a little bit to set up. But when that sets up, there's like a 99% chance that I have fixed that loose club head and it will no longer be loose. And I did not have to take the club apart. I didn't have to modify his club in any way, just a little bit of modern technology and it's taken care of. So that's kind of the tip of the day. I hope it helps some of you. If you've got one that's just a little bit loose on an iron, try that. It may very well work for you. Most of us carry that in our bags. I carry it double bagged in my bag so that it doesn't get out and get on everything. But you want to have a little bit with you. Even the little tubes, if you can find them, are very helpful, along with some masking tape or something like that, of course, electrical tape. Anyway, that's it for today. Hope you have a great day. Hope that helps somebody out. Bye-bye.